Hello, I'm Jerry McKee, and welcome to Prime Time. We've got a special guest with us today, Leslie Wallace, and I tell you what, you're going to learn some stuff here from her. I know I am, because we're always wondering, how does these trucks know where to go? How do they know how to go pick up this and all this? I mean, it's a lot of stuff to it. It's not just like they just all of a sudden, well, I'll just run over here and pick it up. You're going to find out a lot of stuff. And also, you'll find out how you yourself can go in business for yourself. If you always wanted to, this is a time that we can do it. And but we're going to be right back, and we're going to talk to Leslie right after we listen to Ella Bell for that great, great coffee he has.
That sweet aroma, bold and beautiful, I can hardly wait to taste. Early morning, something wonderful is about to make my day.
I love coming here and getting the Amazing Grace coffee, which is delicious, with my friend Barbara Rickey.
I just enjoy coming in here at Ella Bell's Cafe to get my drink. It is delicious, the atmosphere is great, and Philip is a very, very nice person to everyone when they come in.
And by the way, I don't know about you all, but I love coming to Ella Bell for coffee and for having our class. What about you?
Awesome. I do too.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to...
I think I'm addicted to the hot chocolate.
I'm addicted to the coffee. Great coffee.
Energize me, come and wake me up. I will wait upon you, Lord. You revive me, come and fill my cup. I want more and more. Give me a good cup of coffee. Give me a word that rocks me. A whole lot.
Okay, we're back, and let me do a couple little clicks. Here we go. And we're going to talk with Leslie Wallace, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to ask her some questions and see what she's into. But how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, you're native Union.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about you.
Born and raised in Union. Graduated from Union High School in 1992. Left, went to the military, came back, and have been here ever since. Married to my wonderful husband of 12 years, Carl Wallace. We are the owners of Kingdom Dispatch and Logistics, LLC. And we have 2 sons and 2 grandbabies.
Wow. Now, when you're saying that you're, wait a minute, we know you're in business now. How did you get started? How did you think about, I want to go in business myself? Was it scary, really, to take that step?
Yes. My husband and I, we've had businesses before. We had a janitorial business called Just About Anything. We would clean just about anything. And we did that for 3 years. And then we gave that up and because we brought his parents here. And then back in 2021 when COVID hit, my husband was like, well, let's do something else. I'm like, no, I don't want to do nothing else. I said, I don't want to do the janitorial no more. And so he was like, well, let's do Airbnbs. So we was thinking about doing an Airbnb, and we went and talked to one of our realtor friends that goes to church with us, and he was like, well, we've been trying, he said, as a realtor, I've been trying to get property in Greenville for a while, but all the good property downtown, there's all the red tape. You can't get it. But if you go out in the country, who wants to come to Greenville to go in the country? So he said, have you ever thought about dispatching or trucking? I said, no, not that. I don't want to do that. So I was out on medical leave. I had surgery. And my husband was like, you got time now. Think about that trucking thing. I'm like, nope, don't want to do that. Well, you're home for 12 weeks. You ain't got nothing but time. So I began to research it.
Now your husband, I know he drives a truck. Has he always drove a truck?
He was a steel driver for the company that he previously worked for. So, yes, he's always driven trucks.
Okay. Now the B&B, you would be doing some work there.
Yes. So, no, we passed up on that, but I began to do the research. And, the funny thing is, I forgot. But when I was in the military, I worked in the motor pool. I dispatched trucks anyway. And I'm like,
okay.
I forgot all about that. But as I began to research it and I can really do this. So I went to YouTube University. And
My favorite place.
I know, right? I went to YouTube University and Google Academy, and I put it all together, and I purchased a program. And I'm the type of learner, I am a hands-on learner. Just the listening to and reading didn't do it for me. So I found my mentor in Atlanta, and after doing 3 hours with her, I was good to go.
Wow. Well, you had time.
I had time.
And now, I did a couple shows with B&B Breakfast. One Clevedale and Spartanburg, they have a beautiful place out there. It's big. It's right outside of Spartanburg. But they have, it's a lot. It was a lot of work. I mean, it's because you got guests in, you got people there that you got to cook for, that you got to entertain, and you got to clean.
And you got to clean. So no, we won't do all that.
Yeah. So when you started, now, people, I want them to know that this is not something that you just did overnight.
No.
That y'all had, you and your husband had talked over, and also I see where you went to Limestone College.
Yes, I am a graduate of Limestone College with my bachelor's in liberal studies, and so yep, I did that with my GI Bill from the military, and it came in handy with all the stuff I learned there as to how to start a business, operate a business, and run a business.
Right.
So,
Well, it trained you in a way that to be able to multitask, to be able, because I know I got my bachelor's degree from University of South Carolina and working full time and doing all this stuff like that, and you have to multitask a lot. And now, you served your country, U.S. Army,
yes.
veteran. How many years were?
I did 4 years active duty, and then I did 8 years guard.
Oh,
National
okay.
Guard.
So, and I bet you that taught you some stuff too, didn't it?
It did.
Now you said you dispatched trucks and different things while you was in service. Was different loads that they pick up, or do you have to? I know I see trains go by here sometimes. It's got equipment and things on like that. Was that some of your?
No, what I did back in the military, it was just I dispatched the trucks just on base for them to go pick up things from one location to the other.
Oh, okay. Now, let's talk about your business.
Yes.
And now, how did you get started? I mean, you made that decision, and you talked to your husband. Was you scared when you first started doing this? I mean, was you a little bit anxious?
Both scared and anxious, because anytime you do something different and that it's a little scary. So for us, it was a little scary because at that time when we started, it was booming. Everybody was, oh, dispatching, dispatching. I'm like, I'm going to have to find something that's going to make me different and set me apart from everybody else.
Right.
So when we started, I did a real soft launch. And what I did was I just had a flyer made and I just joined a lot of the trucking groups online on Facebook. And I just would drop my flyer in the groups and just drop my flyer. And I got discouraged because first couple of days I didn't get no bites. But then I started getting some responses.
Tell people what does a dispatcher do? What does the logistics do? What are you actually doing?
What I am actually doing is I start off by recruiting owner operators. Now, if they have a contractor, they work for a big company like Swift or Benor, then I can't dispatch for them because that company already has their own dispatching system.
Okay.
So, but if they are owner operators, which mean they are the owners of their equipment, they own it. They can either drive it themselves or they can hire someone else to drive it. So as long as they're owner operators and they have their own equipment and they come to me and I do a vetting, I vet them to make sure that we are a good fit as far as business wise to work together. I make sure that they have all of their stuff in order, such as their authority, their insurance, if they have a factoring company, and all their paperwork is in order. Then I send over to them my carrier packet, which is their agreement with me that they will work with me. I will dispatch for them for this amount. And once they sign that and send it back to me, then my job is to keep them moving, which is to find them loads that is specific for their equipment. They will tell me where they want to go. They will tell me how long they want to be out, when they want to be back home. They'll tell me where they don't want to go. And and then we'll go from there. If I find them a load that meets what their criteria, then it's my job as their dispatcher to call the broker and negotiate the rate for them.
Now, when you are interviewing or talking with someone's owner operator, do you have to ask what kind of truck,
Yes.
what kind of trailer?
Yes.
Because you got to know all that right there for where you know if they got a flatbed and they can't go pick up a load of furniture with it or anything like that. So you really have to. I'm just kind of picture you on a big computer here and a big map to see where this company here needs this load picked up, and so you're almost like a celebrity. You're the manager, and you're providing them with a service and say, okay, only thing they got to do is you call them up. Hey, I need you if you can pick up this load here. Now, does it determine on how whether it be hazard pickups? I mean, do your customer call you, or does I know the truckers call you, but do you contact other warehouses? I mean, I just trying to put all this together in my head to see how this works. We see trucks go by all the time, and we see some that, of course, is corporate, and a lot of them's not. A lot of them is owner operators, and we just assume that they just drive on over and pick something up.
No. It doesn't work that way. In the trucking industry, there is a thing called a load board. And there are several different load boards out there. And to whereas the brokers post the loads. They'll post the loads where the pickup is, where the drop-off is. They'll post also what type of equipment is needed for that load. They'll also post any special instructions, if it's a flatbed, what type, how long it has to be, whether it's a 16-foot, 30-foot, or 40-foot, if it's a 53-foot dry van, if it has to be tarped, if it has to be chained, if it has to be strapped, if it's a container, the weight of it, all of that. So therefore, that's why it's important that you know the type of equipment that your owner operator has, because you don't want to send him to pick up a load in a cargo van and he actually needs a 53-foot dry van. So you have to make sure that the weight, the length, the height, all of that, to make sure it's not an oversized load. If it is, he has to get permits. If it's a hazardous load, he has to be certified to carry that load. Even if it's an alcohol load, because sometimes they do go pick up those things of alcohol, and so you have to be mindful of what type of equipment they have versus what the load requires. Because if you send them there and they can't carry the load, then they won't give them the load, and so therefore now your driver has driven all this deadhead for nothing.
And it's very costly too.
Yes.
Well, it's 15 hours an hour, and we're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk to you about software and the computers, how you keep all this stuff together.
That sweet aroma, bold and beautiful, I can hardly wait to taste. Early morning, something wonderful is about to make my day.
I love coming here and getting the Amazing Grace coffee, which is delicious, with my friend Barbara Ricky.
I just enjoy coming in here at Elabelle's Cafe to get my drink. It is delicious. The atmosphere is great. And Philip is a very, very nice person to everyone when they come in.
And by the way, I don't know about you all, but I love coming to Ellie Bell for coffee and for having our class. What about you?
Awesome. I do too.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to...
I think I'm addicted to the hot chocolate.
I'm addicted to the coffee. Great coffee.
Energize me, come and wake me up. I will wait upon you, Lord. You revive me, come and fill my cup. I want more and more. Give me a good cup of coffee. Give me a word that rocks me. A whole lot.
All right, we're back, and you are listening to Leslie Wallace, and she's talking about, you never believe, she's a trucker. We're going to ask her if she ever drove one. Okay, Leslie, confess. Have you climbed up there and tried to drive one?
He said tried to drive.
Or did drive?
Did drive. I did actually 2 weeks ago. I did. My husband and I, we purchased our own truck, and he has been trying to get me to drive it. I ride with him to go fuel it, and on this particular day, he said, make sure you bring your license because you're going to drive it back. And I drove it back.
Well, that's great. Did you back it in good?
I ain't do all that now. When we got to the house, I said, okay, I put it in neutral. And I said, now you do all that part.
Years and years and years ago, I drove a tractor and trailer for Thompson Howard, and backing up, I hated it, and I had to take these mountain runs where these little stores, and you got to squeeze in there, and I thought, oh, but I got through it. No, now to keep all this stuff together, do you have to have special software to do this, or do you kind of create your own, whether it be with Word, Excel spreadsheets, and people use all types of Microsoft Office things. How do you keep up with all this?
Very carefully, but I do use Excel and Word, and I do have an awesome assistant that does help me to be able to be organized and keep up with everything, because it is a lot. Because I not only dispatch for my husband, but I do dispatch for 6 other drivers. So I have 6 other drivers that are on the road now that I dispatch for, 7 including my husband.
Wow, that's a lot to keep up with. Now these drivers, how many, what's the average miles they drive? I mean, you know that? I mean,
I have a team driver, two brothers. They drive a 26-foot box truck. They go anywhere. So on an average per week, they're driving about 6,000 miles.
a week. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Truck never stops.
I thought my 4,000 miles a month was big.
Truck never stops. My husband, he drives about 3 to 4,000 a week.
Wow. Now, they go all the way to California, cross country, and
I have a driver this morning. He dropped off in Texas. He picked up in Texas, and he's delivering to California.
oh, okay. Did they go out of the country, like Canada, Mexico?
They go to New Mexico. Nobody really wants to go to Canada. So I haven't sent anyone to Canada yet. So California, New Mexico, Utah, basically is wherever they tell me they want to go, because it's dependent on when they want to be back home.
Right.
Now, my two team drivers, they're young. They don't care. They bypass home and keep it moving. My husband, he says, if you send me out on Monday, by Wednesday you need to be rerouting me back, coming back home. He wants to be home every weekend, because they have to do a 32-hour reset.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have to. You can work for 14 hours, but you can only drive for 11. And then you have to do your 32-hour reset. And he said, I'd rather do my 32-hour reset at home versus doing it in a hotel room for a couple of days.
Now, does the drivers, when you petition these loads, do the drivers unload the trailers, or is that something separate that's maybe cost extra, or?
We don't work for free.
Yeah.
Everything costs. Everything costs. If there is driver assistance that is required when I'm booking the load, I have a checklist that I go off, and I ask the question to the broker, is driver assist required? If driver assist is required, then we go back to the drawing board and renegotiate so my driver can get paid for the extra work. Now, if the broker says, nope, there's no driver assist, but then when the driver gets to the drop-off point or the pickup point and they say, well, we need you to help either unload or load the truck, before they do anything, they call me and they tell me. And then I call the broker back, and then we renegotiate then.
Okay.
And then what he does is he'll call the customer, and if the customer says, yes, we really need it, then we'll renegotiate a price, and then he'll send me what we call an updated rate con, which means he's changed the price on the rate con, and so I have to sign it again, and then we're good to go.
Okay. Now, the loads that you get, does it depend on what you're picking up as far as the logos, the cost of, say, even if it's a box truck, it depends on what you're picking up?
It depends on two things, not necessarily what you're picking up, but it basically, the two things is the mileage.
Uh-huh.
It depends on the miles, and it depends on when it's got to be there. Because trucker owner-operators get paid rate per mile. The going rate is $2 a mile. That's for a box truck, a hot shot. Now a power only or 18-wheeler or a reefer truck, those are $250 and up.
Now, tell us what a reefer truck is, because we've got some out there probably thinking, whoa, I want to go drive for them.
A reefer truck is a refrigerated truck.
Okay.
So that means that it has a refrigeration unit hauling food, either medicine or anything that has to be kept at a certain temperature.
Okay.
So those are called specialized trucks. So the rate on those are a lot higher because it's a specialized truck.
Now, in hauling like vegetables, is because you got a certain time to get that there because of the perishable like that. Is there a different price for that, right? For that is because I know that would be as a perishable item, and you're very limited getting there, especially with this hot weather we've had, especially get out in Arizona where it's really hot.
Yes, and that would require a temperature control truck.
Okay.
To be able to keep it at a certain temperature, to whereas the heat would not affect it and it would still be good by the time they got to the delivery point. And all of that does affect the rate per mile. You take your dollar amount and you divide that by the number of miles, and that gives you the rate per mile as to what that driver is actually getting paid for that load. So when the loads are posted, they post the mileage of the total load. But, if the load is in picking up in Spartanburg and we're here in Union, there's some mileage between Union and Spartanburg. That's called deadhead miles.
Right.
So therefore, I include everything because diesel's not cheap. So I include everything. So I include whether it takes us 20 miles to get there or 30 miles. I add that deadhead to the total miles, and then I do my math to whereas I can make sure my drivers are getting the best rate.
What is the average price of diesel fuel now?
Oh, right at about $4.19.
Okay. They talked about one time of having an experiment with it, having electric trucks. And
They do. I just went to 2 weeks ago the BMW Diversity Conference, and they did have an electric 18-wheeler out there. They did.
I wonder how far that would get because I know people's got electric cars here, and 200 miles or somewhere like that.
Well, the only thing with that is one, the mileage, but two, how long it takes to get it charged back up. Because when you're on the road, time is money.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And plus, you don't have those plug-ins everywhere either.
That's right.
And I can imagine the big old batteries on that thing.
Oh, yes.
Did you really get to look at it any or close up or?
I looked at it close up, but I didn't get a chance to get inside.
Yeah.
They had it on display right there before you went into the conference center, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, but we still need people though.
That's right.
We still need people.
Yeah, somebody got to drive it.
Somebody's got to drive it.
And be honest with you, I've seen some of the cars, electric cars, and inside they're ugly. They really are. I mean, they just got like my computer. I'm sitting there watching a computer or something like that, and that's it. No dash. I mean, there's no character to it. Not like the old school cars and stuff. But
yeah.
Now, we're going to talk here in a few minutes after we get after the 30-minute hour. We're going to talk about the education part and what you offer as far as training and getting someone to the point to where they're like you. Now, how long have you been doing this particular?
We started back in 2021, right as when COVID was phasing out. That's when we started. And we just started out just tinkering with it. And when I signed my first driver, he was new. He had just got his authority. He was new. I was new. And I said, well, how about this? We just partner and learn together. And so that's what we did. Trial and error. Because every driver is different, every load is different. You can get a load and it goes perfect. Then you can get a load, the driver's trucks break down. He gets caught in traffic, or he gets to the pickup and they're not ready for him. So there are so many different things that can happen to whereas it makes every experience totally different.
What is one of the strangest things that you had to have someone pick up?
I would say the kegs of beer. We had a 26-foot box truck full of kegs of beer.
Wow.
And the driver was like, I wonder if they would miss one.
If I can figure this and run this tap up in my cab.
And we've ran loads for Adidas in Spartanburg. Those are very special loads. Those are loads to whereas the driver has to stay with the truck 24 hours. So It is a straight through load because you're carrying about $1.2 million worth of shoes.
Wow.
So yes.
I hadn't even thought about that.
My driver today, he picked up a prototype of a side-by-side military that has never been seen before. It's going to be on display on Wednesday. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody's ever driven it. It's going to be on display. So he picked that up this morning. So that was really cool, too.
I bet that was. Did they have it covered?
He had to cover it. So when he sent me pictures of it being of it inside of the truck, I didn't even get to see it because he'd already covered it up, strapped it down, and the truck. Then he had to take a picture of the seal when the truck was sealed, and then when he gets to his destination, they have to take a picture of the receiver cutting the seal because nobody's seen it. It won't be unveiled until Wednesday.
And where's it going to be?
San Diego, California.
So, folks, if y'all want to see it, got to drive to San Diego.
So I'm excited because he actually, they asked if he felt comfortable enough to even drive it off the truck. So he actually gets to drive it off the truck.
Oh, well, that would be exciting.
Yes.
And he'll probably send you a picture of it too.
I'm hoping. I've asked if they will allow him to.
Right.
I've asked. So
That's a lot of security for him. You know, we don't even think about things like that. We just think things just get there. You know, they said, well, we can fly it in the plane. Somebody got to take it there. And now I see the trains carrying boxcars of these trailers, and from one end to the other. But you know, people don't realize that somebody's got to take it from, because them train tracks don't come out of our house, does it?
no, they don't. Somebody has to be at that port or even at the airport to be able to transport it from point A to point B. And in order to do that, you've got to have a TWIC card or you've got to have special authorization to be able to do that. So those loads are just not everyday loads for everybody. My driver, because he was going on to a military facility, they had to see his driver's license. They had to do a background check on him.
Right.
And certain things, depending on what the commodity is and the value of it. There are some brokers that require seasoned drivers that's been driving for at least 2 or 3 years because that's what the customer requires. There are certain loads that basic insurance coverage is just not enough because of the value of it.
Wow. Now, how do some of these companies that's searching for these trucks to come there, how do they know to call you? Do you actually call them and send them a flyer in the mail, or how's that process? Because I can imagine. I know you're talking to the truckers and all this right here, but the other part, they got to send you in. We need these loads here, and do you market yourself online? I know your website.
Actually, I don't. It's called a relationship. But there's also what I mentioned before is the load board. The brokers, they post the loads. They go out, they solicit the customers. They get the customers' business because most of the times the brokers have to bid on the business. Once they get the business, they can't move it, so then they post the loads on the load boards. So once the loads are posted, if you have a subscription, because you have to pay for that, right, then you can go out there and then you can call the brokers. You can either call them or email them to put in your bid for that load. And sometimes they accept it, sometimes they don't. You know, sometimes their price is really low because what people don't understand is the transportation trucking industry is just like any other industry. It has its highs and its lows. If diesel go up, rates are going to go down. And so if there's anything going on in the world that affects us, it affects trucking. And so therefore, the rates could be low. Then the rates could come back up. So that's why you have to be able to know if you paid me $3,000 for this load last week, why are you offering me $1,500 for it this week? And it's okay to say no, that you don't want it. It's okay to say no, because I don't book a load without my driver's approval. Even though I see it, I have one phone with the broker on it and one phone with my driver. This is what it is. This is the total amount of miles. This is where it's going. I'll be talking really fast because that broker has about 30 other calls coming in for that same load. So I'm like whipping it off to my driver. Okay, basically it's $2.10 a mile. Do you want it? Yes or no? He'll say yes or he'll say no.
So you're just because I had in my mind, you're calling up over here, for instance, the distribution center. Hey, excuse me, you got any loads right here, right here? So you're looking at like a screen. It's almost like an auction house in a sense, and you got brokers on there that is constantly listing these loads right
Yes.
here, and you select which one that you think and where your drivers is at. So it's like a big puzzle thing. Wow,
Yeah.
because it's people don't understand. It's money.
It's money.
The time is money. It's just like radio stations. I used to DJ at a radio station many years ago, and they said, well, you got a commercial that's 30 seconds. Well, if you miss that 30 seconds or that minute, you've missed it, and that costs so many dollars. And same thing if you do with like that. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to the commercial, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about your educational training. If people wants to get on board and learn this and all the logistics of it, we're going to tell them how, and you're going to talk a little bit about it. So we'll be back right after Ellie Bell.
That sweet aroma, bold and beautiful, I can hardly wait to taste. Early morning, something wonderful is about to make my day.
I love coming here and getting the Amazing Grace coffee, which is delicious, with my friend Barbara Ricky.
I just enjoy coming in here at Ellie Bell's Cafe to get my drink. It is delicious. The atmosphere is great. And Philip is a very, very nice person to everyone when they come in.
And by the way, I don't know about you all, but I love coming to Ellie Bell for coffee and for having our class. What about you?
Awesome. I do too.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to.
I think I'm addicted to the hot chocolate.
I'm addicted to the coffee. Great coffee.
Energize me, come and wake me up. I will wait upon you, Lord. You revive me, come and fill my cup. I want more and more. Give me a good cup of coffee. Give me a word that rocks me. A whole lot.
Okay, we are back, and we are talking to Leslie Wallace of Kingdom Dispatch and Logistics. And now you've heard a lot about all of these trucks and how they do these things here, and you're thinking, well, I can never do that. You can do it. You can do it. All you got to do is listen to Leslie.
Yes, you can do it. There's nothing impossible. I offer dispatcher training, one-on-one training. It is a 6 weeks course. You meet 1 day a week, and once you finish, you will be certified, and then I offer unlimited mentoring as well. But starting January 2024, I know people are saying, well, everybody's offering dispatching. Everybody's doing this. How do I know what's legit, what's not legit? Well, starting January 2024, Kingdom Dispatch and Logistics will be offering their dispatching course at Piedmont Tech in Greenwood, South Carolina. Yes, through an accredited college, we will be having 2 sessions, a live session and in-person session and an online session. And you can't get no more accredited than that than being a part of an accredited college. So that is something new for Kingdom Dispatch and Logistics that we will be offering. We have partnered with them in their CDL training to be able to help anyone that wants to be a dispatcher become a dispatcher, not just any dispatcher, but a certified dispatcher, and be able to learn the business, do the business, and be able to scale the business, because there's so much more to transportation than just driving a truck.
Now, in this teaching, you'll be showing the proper way to set a business up.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, well, how I do this is right. So, in part of this college, you'll be going with the basics of how, okay, this is what you're going to need. And one thing you will need is internet.
That's the biggest thing. You will need internet, and you will need the business startup for dispatching is relatively easy and relatively low cost because you'll need a computer. Everybody always has one of them. You'll need a phone. Everybody got one of them.
Yes.
You'll need the internet. You'll need a printer. You'll need a map, pen, paper, and you're ready to go. And the load board. You'll need a subscription to the load board. There are many different load boards out there. I am partial to DAT, DAT. That's the one I'm partial to because it shows everything and it's very cost effective. It's really reasonable.
Tell them exactly what a load board is.
A load board is a site or space that brokers post their loads that they have won the bids on from the customers. For instance, let's just say Walmart is in need of some freight moved. So the broker will call the shipping manager at Walmart and say, okay, we can move this freight for you for X amount of dollars. But at the same token, there's 4 or 5 other people saying we can move the freight too. So, of course, Walmart wants the cheapest bid, the cheapest price. Right. So whoever wins their bid gets the business. So now it's up to the broker to be able to move that freight. So what he does is he posts the loads on the load board. Or if he or she has a driver that they have built a relationship with and that they're comfortable with and that they know has that type of equipment, they won't even post it. They'll just call them and check their availability. If they can do it, then they won't post it. They'll award it to them if they're capable of doing it. If not, then they'll post it on the load board.
Now, will this training also teach them a little about trucks?
Yes.
The trailers and different kinds?
Yes.
Because I know that someone says, well, I like we dispatch, but they wouldn't know what a low boy is to a box or specialties and stuff like that. So this, and part of this training, will they be able to, you'll be able to show them?
Yes, about the different types, because as part of a dispatcher and being a good dispatcher, you have to know the equipment. Yes, the owner operators will know it, but when you're booking loads, they're not looking at what you're looking at. So you have to know their gross weight. You have to know their max weight. You have to know their axles. You have to know if they've got mega ramps or regular ramps. You've got to know if they've got special equipment, if it's a box truck, if it's a 16-foot, 24-foot, 26-foot, or even the mega, the 28-foot, if they've got a pallet jack, if it's dock high, if it has a lift gate, if the lift gate's on the top, if it's under the bottom, if it is a hot shot, if they've got straps, chains, tarps, if they've got all of that, because when you see that load on the load board, over on the corner, it has special instructions, and those special instructions will tell you all the things that's needed for that load. And you have to know what your driver has, because if you don't know and you're fumbling, you've lost the load.
You gotta be fast, right?
You gotta be fast. So what I do is I went to the dollar store and they have these little the folders you can write on them. So on the front of all of my clients' folders, I've got their names, their MC number, their authority, what they have, who their insurance is with, what special equipment they have, where they're from, their phone numbers, all of this. So when I pull that folder out and I'm talking to the broker, everything's right there in front of me.
And you speak of insurance like that because you would think that you just dispatching these out. Why would insurance be a factor? Tell us why insurance is a factor in dispatching and logistics.
Insurance is a big factor. It is a big factor because of if that driver happens to lose that load, damage that load, steal that load, not deliver that load, then somebody has to pay for that load. So that's why insurance is important. Insurance is important for just like for our everyday living. It's important. But the difference is the amount of coverage that they have to have. $750,000 is the minimum.
Wow.
But most brokers require you to have $1 million or more. Some customers require you to have $2 million or more.
I guess it depends on the tennis shoes.
Yep. Depending on what it is. And, if it gets damaged or if it gets stolen or misplaced, it has to be replaced. And so they go after your insurance to be able to recoup their loss.
Now, and part of this training, you also will be teaching them how to sign on drivers, because
Yes.
you just can't say, "Oh, here, just sign here." There's certain things that you got to negotiate, and they got to understand your priorities and theirs too. So this will be in the training also.
Yes, I teach them how to vet their drivers. I teach my students that it's okay to say no. Every driver that calls you is not your driver. And, when people are starting businesses, they get excited because they're getting all these calls and all these calls and all these calls. But I have a spreadsheet to whereas certain questions you ask your driver. How do you feel? Do you get that warm and fuzzy, or are you like, no, no? Because you have to understand, because in this business, what most people don't know, top secret, they don't know, it's going to be, I'm putting it out here on Prime right now, is it's not the broker that pays you. It is not the customer that pays you. It is that driver that pays you. So if you don't have that warm and fuzzy with that driver, you might want to pass, because he is the one that once that load is delivered and you handle all of his paperwork and submit it to the factoring company for him to get paid, then he in turn pays you.
Okay, so actually, they're not, the broker and all that is not paying you. It goes to the driver, and then he takes that. I didn't know that. That's very important to know that you get, because, not everyone out there is saints. And,
That's right.
And some's out to get this and this right here, but I didn't know that.
For
Very good
owner
information.
operators, yes.
Now you try to negotiate the good rates, and you try to teach that in your classes, what is going to be profitable for yourself and also for the drivers. If he's making good money, he's going to stick with you.
Yes. And I also teach them, some drivers want to do, want to pay you a set salary, a set rate a week. I teach my students to know your value and know your worth, because guess what? It's more profitable to get a percentage of each load versus them paying you $500. Oh, I'll pay you $500 a week. Okay, but you get them 5 loads and you're doing those 5 loads at 10% a load. Yeah, you didn't shortage yourself.
Right. So you got to, and that's something that you'll teach in these classes, is that how to negotiate, and that's very important, because that's going to be your money than doing this right here. What about establishing like business credit?
I teach that too. I have 3 different packages. 4 now. Is the business setup to teach you how to get your LLC, your EIN. Then I have a total package that teaches you how to do all that, teaches you dispatching, as well as how to build business credit and how to use it wisely. Just because you can get it doesn't mean that you need to abuse it. But I also teach compliance as well, especially for the new drivers coming onto the scene. I walk them through how to set up and get their MC, get their authority through the FMCSA. I walk them how to make sure that they're registered and make sure they pay their taxes and make sure that their trucks are registered correctly as to what they're going to haul and what they're going to be delivering. If it's general freight, that's fine. But if you've worked and you got your CDL and you're going to be carrying hazardous material, you need to get paid extra for that, and your truck needs to state that, so when they pull up your authority number, they can see that you have these certifications.
Okay. So, no, I think you got to have a certain certification for hazard material, right?
Yes.
To be able to haul it.
Yes.
Now, somebody might not tell someone what LLC is.
Your LLC is Limited Liability Corporation. You can be a LLC, you can be a S Corp. They're all many different things. It's just how your business is established and how you have it set up. And so once you establish that you're LLC, Then when you go to fill out your paperwork with the Secretary of State, you'll have all these options, and then they'll explain to you what each one is. And if that's how your business is set up, that's the one you'll choose. But I tell everybody, and I want everybody to be successful, but I also remind everybody is you have to do it the right way. You can't just do it under the table. You got to pay your taxes. So you got to get your EIN number that's attached to your business, and you got to pay your taxes, because you don't want to start a business, be going really well, and all of a sudden you ain't paid your taxes.
Uncle Sam comes.
Yes.
Uncle Sam wants his money.
He's going to get it too.
That's right. And that's only just common sense
Right.
stuff there. But I think with these classes right here, if someone's really, really interested in this, they can sit down and have a conversation with you, and you can probably tell if that person's really wants to do this, or just something they want to do on the whim, or because you got some that says, "Oh yeah, I want to try this," but they don't want to put that work in it, because it is work.
It is work. I tell a lot of people, because I do consultations. So if you want to just call and do a 20-minute consultation, I tell people, when you start, as long as that driver is on the road, you're not off. As long as he is out delivering a load or picking up a load, you're not off the clock. If my driver calls me at 10 o'clock at night, then guess what? I have to get up and I have to help him through whatever because I am the middle person.
Right.
If his truck breaks down or whatever. And that's what we will go through in all of these classes. That's what I will teach, how to handle certain situations. And with being at Piedmont Tech is going to offer a scholarship and tuition assistance to those that register for the class. So they're going to get an extra discount to take the class if they're really interested in it. So there are a lot of opportunities out here for those that are really serious about taking on this new adventure. I mean, they can do it full-time, they can do it part-time. You can dispatch anywhere. I've been going on vacation. My husband's driving, and I'm on my laptop dispatching loads, sending up paperwork, because you can establish with your driver what all you want to do. You can just dispatch him and he can handle all of his paperwork. Or you can be an outstanding above and beyond dispatcher and you can handle all of his paperwork for him, and all he has to do is drive. But of course, that's extra.
That's right. But you'll be able to teach them in this class, and when they get through with the class itself, they should be able to do what?
When the class is done and they're certified, they should be able to know what their role is as a dispatcher. They should be able to vet their drivers and be able to make a decision whether they want to partner with them or not. They should be able to know all the required paperwork needed for their drivers. They will be able to know how to go onto the FMCSA website and vet and check their driver, make sure that their MC number is good, their authority is good. They'll be able to call the broker, negotiate the rates, and be able to close the deal if that's the load that the driver wants.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to Ellie Bell for the last time here. We're going to be right back, and I'm learning some stuff here. I tell you what, I'm getting tired myself, just all the stuff that you're talking about. So we'll be back and let Leslie tell us some more stuff about, especially about the training, and you can't beat the price of the training, that's for sure.
That sweet aroma, bold and beautiful, I can hardly wait to taste. Early morning, something wonderful is about to make my day.
I love coming here and getting the Amazing Grace coffee, which is delicious, with my friend Barbara Rickey.
I just enjoy coming in here at Ellie Cafe to get my drink. It is delicious, the atmosphere is great, and Philip is a very, very nice person to everyone when they come in.
And by the way, I don't know about you all, but I love coming to Ellie Bell for coffee and for having our class. What about you? Yeah, it's a wonderful place to.
I think I'm addicted to the hot chocolate.
I'm addicted to the coffee. Great coffee.
Energize me, come and wake me up. I will wait upon you, Lord. You revive me, come and fill my cup. I want more and more. Give me a good cup of coffee. Give me a word that rocks me. A whole lot.
Okay, I hope that commercial gave you some coffee vibes. To go down and see Ella Bell, see Phil, and he'll make you amazing grace. And it is amazing, I've heard. I'm not a coffee drinker, sorry, Phil, but the family is, and they love your coffee. Well, we're getting down to the close to the end here, and I still got a lot. Well, I've learned a lot. And what are some final thoughts that you have for someone, and also give a number that they can call if they have questions for you, and we also will put your link and everything, of course, on the channel here too.
Some final thoughts. If you are interested and you're titter-tattering whether you should or whether you shouldn't, give me a call. Let's do a consultation. And if you are interested and you want to take the leap, take the step. It seems like a lot, but it's not. You can get the hang of it, and it is a very rewarding experience when you are helping someone else achieve their goals. Owner-operators are just like everybody else. They're out here trying to make a difference for their families and build financial and generational wealth for their families. So therefore, if you want to have a rewarding feeling of helping someone else achieve their goals, dispatching is the way, because you'll be an entrepreneur, they're entrepreneurs, and guess what? It works. So if you want to talk more about dispatching, if you want to talk more about the classes that are going to be offered through Piedmont Tech, either in person or online, please reach out to me at 800-953-5445, or you can email me at info@kingdomdispatchlogistics.com, or you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on all of those outlets. You can find me, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions, help you walk through it, help you get established, or even if you've already started but you're kind of stuck, I can help you get unstuck and we can keep trucking.
And you know what rewarding it is when you tell your friends, "What do you do?" "I own my own business."
That's right.
And what do you do? Says, "I'm a dispatcher in logistics, and I'm one that sends, make sure you get groceries."
That's right.
and Amazon stuff and all these things here that they order that the truck delivers. And so all they got to do, and they can send me a message. I'll send it to you too. But I think with I think, wouldn't you say, didn't you, tuition was free or?
Nope, tuition's not free.
Okay.
It's
Well,
not free, but they do they are giving scholarships, and it is a discounted price.
Okay.
So, if I am not mistaken, please, please, please don't quote me on it. Maybe I shouldn't say a price.
yeah.
We'll get back to you on the price, but I do know it is a discounted price, and I do know that they're offering scholarships for the program.
And
So
they can call Piedmont.
they can call Piedmont Tech. They're actually building the program right now, so they can call Piedmont Tech, and they can ask for the admin office, and they can direct them to where and who they can talk to.
Well, Leslie, it's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot of stuff.
Pleasure's been mine as well.
And we didn't talk about nothing like this, but she's an author too.
Yes, I am an author.
And the book is great. I've been reading it, and it just kind of makes you, when I was reading it, it just kind of makes me feel like gosh, that's it. That's me, or it could be me. Says this woman's been in my house. She's been watching me or something. But hey, go look up on Amazon some like Leslie Wallace, and if you want to read her book. But I think you'll be a great teacher, and I'm looking forward to seeing you grow even more in
Thank
business,
you.
and anything we can do on this end, we'd be glad to do it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Jerry McKee, and thank you for watching Primetime. And next week's guest, nope, I don't tell you about the end of the week, so you'll find out. So, yo, have a good night, and we will see you